Original post. I'm sitting in my car right now, parked 3 blocks away from my own house, because I can't go back inside yet. If I look at her face right now, I'm going to lose it. I'm going to scream or cry or do something that gives away the fact that I finally see the truth. I'm using a throwaway because Sarah and her mother follow my main. They've always been concerned about my mental health, or at least that's the narrative they've spent the last 3 years spinning. Mark is just so stressed. Mark is becoming paranoid. Mark really needs to focus on his communication skills. God, I feel like such a fool. Let me give you the background. I've been married to Sarah for 6 years. We have a 4-year-old daughter, Lily. For the last decade, Sarah's mother, Brenda, has been a permanent fixture in our lives. I'm talking daily visits, Brenda having a key to our house, Brenda dropping by at 9 p.m. on a Tuesday because she had a feeling Sarah was lonely. I've always been the provider. I work 60 hours a week as a senior systems architect so Sarah could stay home with Lily. I thought we were a team, but for the last 18 months, Sarah has been different, cold, distant. Whenever I'd try to talk to her about the lack of intimacy or the way she seemed to be constantly glued to her phone, she'd flip the script. "You're being controlling, Mark. You're suffocating me. This is why I have to go on these trips. To breathe." The girls' trips. That's where it all falls apart. Every 2 months, for the last year and a half, Brenda and Sarah would go on these healing retreats. A spa weekend in Sedona, a wine tour in Napa, a wellness seminar in Miami. Brenda would pay for the hotels. She's a wealthy widow. And Sarah would come back refreshed, smelling like expensive perfume and looking me in the eye while telling me how much she missed me. Last night, Sarah and Brenda left for their spring equinox retreat in Charleston. They were supposed to be gone until Sunday. Sarah forgot her iPad under the couch cushion. It's an old one she usually only uses for reading, but it was pinging over and over and over. I thought it was her alarm or an emergency. I picked it up. It didn't have a passcode. She must have disabled it, because Lily likes to play games on it. I saw a notification from a contact saved as spa, appointment desk. But the message, it wasn't about a massage. It said, "I'm in room 402, counting down the seconds until Brenda leaves the suite. I bought that thing you like. Hurry." My heart didn't just drop. It felt like it disintegrated in my chest. I opened the message thread. It wasn't a spa. It was a man named Julian. I've known Julian since college. He's the one that got away. The guy Brenda always said was too wild for Sarah, but who Sarah clearly never stopped thinking about. I spent the next 4 hours scrolling. I didn't sleep. I just read. And the deeper I went, the more I realized that this wasn't just Sarah. This was Brenda too. There were 3-way group chats. Brenda, Sarah, and Julian. Let that sink in. My mother-in-law was coordinating her daughter's affair. I'm going to read you some of the messages, because I need to hear how insane this sounds. Brenda, 6:12 p.m. Friday. "Okay, we just checked in. Mark was a bit clingy today. Asked for a photo of us at dinner. Sarah, honey, take a selfie in the hotel lobby alone. I'll go meet Julian at the bar and get the key card for him. Mark is so easy to handle. He's probably already asleep like the boring old man he is." Sarah, 6:14 p.m. Ugh, tell me about it. He tried to initiate something this morning and I almost gagged. I told him my hormones were off again, and he just apologized and made me coffee. He's so pathetic. "Is Julian there? I'm dying." Brenda, 6:20 p.m. "Julian is here. He looks better than ever. Don't worry about Mark. If he calls, I'll answer and tell him you're in the shower or at a yoga class. I've got your back, baby. You deserve to be happy, not stuck with a glorified ATM." A glorified ATM. That's what I am to them. I've paid off Sarah's student loans. I paid for Brenda's kitchen remodel last summer because she ran short on cash, and I wanted to be a good son-in-law. All while they were laughing at me in hotel bars with another man. I found photos. God, the photos. Julian and Sarah on the beach in Miami. A trip I thought was a mother-daughter bonding weekend. Julian at our favorite restaurant in the city, while I was home with a sick toddler. But the worst part? The gaslighting. I found a thread from 3 months ago where I had actually confronted Sarah about a charge on our joint credit card for a luxury lingerie store. Mark, "Hey babe, saw a $400 charge at La Perla. Is everything okay?" That's a lot for a random Tuesday. Sarah, 5 minutes later. He saw the charge. Help me. Brenda, to Sarah. Tell him I used your card by mistake and I'll reimburse you. Then, start crying. Tell him you feel like he's tracking your every move and it's triggering your anxiety. Make him feel like the monster. And she did. She came home and cried for 2 hours. She made me feel like an abusive, controlling husband for even looking at the bank statement. I ended up buying her flowers and apologizing for my insecurities. I felt so guilty I took her out to a 5-course dinner the next night. I'm sitting here, looking at my hands and they won't stop shaking. I have the iPad. I have thousands of messages. I have photos of them together. I have Brenda's play-by-play instructions on how to manipulate me. They don't know I know. They think I'm at home, probably cleaning the house or working on my communication skills for when they get back. I'm not going to be at home. I've already called a lawyer. He's a shark, a friend of a friend who specializes in high-conflict divorces. He told me to stay calm, to screen record everything on the iPad, and to not confront them until he has the papers ready. But I don't know if I can wait. Every time I think about Brenda, that woman who sits at my Thanksgiving table and tells me I'm like a son to her, I want to throw up. Every time I think about Sarah kissing me goodbye with Julian's scent still on her skin, I can't breathe. I have to go pick up Lily from daycare now. I have to look at my daughter, the only good thing that came out of this nightmare, and pretend that her mother isn't a stranger. I'm going to stay at a hotel tonight. I'll tell Sarah I have a server emergency at the office and have to stay on site. It's a lie, but hey, I've learned from the best, haven't I? I'll update when I can. My lawyer says we're going to burn the house down, legally speaking. I just hope I survive the smoke. Time passed since last post, 48 hours. I'm sitting in my home office with the door locked. I can hear them downstairs. I can hear their laughter, that sharp, performative, we're just girls having fun laughter that used to make me smile. Now it sounds like nails on a chalkboard. It sounds like a mockery of every sacrifice I've made for this family. The last 48 hours have been a blur of adrenaline, nausea, and cold, hard math. I haven't slept more than 3 hours since I found that iPad. I spent all of Friday night and Saturday morning at a cheap motel under a fake name, screen recording every single thread on that device. I'm talking thousands of messages. I found a folder in their shared cloud titled Research. Do you know what was in it? It wasn't vacation spots. It was screenshots of my bank accounts, my 401k statements, and a PDF of a post-nuptial agreement they were trying to figure out how to trick me into signing. Brenda is the mastermind. I see that now. Sarah is just the instrument. I met with my lawyer Marcus yesterday afternoon. He's a shark, just like I thought. He sat there in his glass-walled office, flipping through the printouts of the texts I sent him. He didn't even flinch. He's seen it all. But even he raised an eyebrow when he got to the part where Brenda told Sarah to fake a panic attack, so I wouldn't ask why she was 3 hours late coming home from the gym. Marcus looked at me and said, "Mark, this isn't just an affair. This is a long con. They're treating you like a retirement fund. If you confront them now, they'll scrub everything. You need to be a ghost. You need to be the boring old man they think you are for just a little bit longer." But then they came home. They walked through the front door 4 hours ago, smelling like expensive sea salt and mimosa brunches. Sarah came running up to me, trying to put her arms around my neck. I literally had to stiffen my spine to keep from recoiling. "Oh, Marky," she chirped. God, I hate that nickname now. I missed you so much. The retreat was so intense, lots of crying and inner child work. I'm exhausted. Brenda was right behind her, wearing a new designer sun hat that I probably paid for. "Hello, dear. You look tired. Are you still stressing about that server migration? You really need to learn to let go. You're making the energy in the house so heavy." I just looked at her. I didn't say anything for a full 10 seconds. I just stared into Brenda's eyes, looking for a shred of guilt. There was nothing, just that smug, superior glint. "I'm fine, Brenda," I said. My voice sounded like it was coming from someone else. Just a lot on my mind. "Well, try to be present for your wife," Brenda snapped, already heading toward my kitchen to pour herself a glass of my $100 scotch. "She needs support, not a statue." Dinner was a nightmare. I sat there watching them exchange looks across the table. They have this silent language, a series of nods and eye flicks. Every time Sarah's phone buzzed on the placemat, she'd glance at it, smile, and then quickly turn it over. I knew it was Julian. I knew because I'd seen the plan on the iPad. Sarah to Julian, 2 p.m. today. Almost home. Can't wait to see you Tuesday while Mark is at his big meeting. I still have the hotel key in my purse as a souvenir. I sat there, cutting my steak, thinking about that big meeting on Tuesday. They think I'm going to be at a corporate headquarters 2 hours away. In reality, I'm going to be at the bank, moving my personal assets into a separate account and filing the initial separation papers. The gaslighting started again about 20 minutes ago. Sarah came into the office pretending to be concerned because I haven't been affectionate since she got back. "Mark," she said, leaning against the doorframe. "What's wrong? You're acting so cold. Is this about the money again? Are you mad that I spent a little extra at the spa? Because Mom paid for most of it, you know. I didn't even look up from my laptop. I'm not mad about the money, Sarah." "Then what?" she pressed, her voice getting that high-pitched victim edge to it. "Is it your paranoia again? Are you going to start accusing me of things just because I had a weekend to myself? It's really hurtful, Mark. My therapist, well, the one Mom recommended, says your need for control is a red flag." I almost snapped. I almost threw the iPad at her feet right then and there. I wanted to see her face go pale. I wanted to see Brenda's smug mask shatter. But I thought of Lily. Lily was upstairs, sleeping peacefully, oblivious to the fact that her mother and grandmother are sociopaths. If I blow up now, they'll take her. Brenda has the money for a massive legal battle, and they've spent years building a paper trail of my instability. Every time they made me blow up in the past, they recorded it. Every time I cried out of frustration, they logged it as emotional volatility. "I just have a headache, Sarah," I said. My teeth clenched so hard my jaw ached. "Go to bed. I'll be up late working." She sighed. That theatrical, "I'm married to a burden" sigh. "Fine, but don't expect me to be in the mood tomorrow if you're going to be a jerk tonight." She slammed the door. I heard her go into the guest room where Brenda is staying. I could hear their muffled voices. I pulled out my own phone and checked the baby monitor. I'd moved one of the cameras into the hallway earlier. I saw them standing in the hall, whispering. Brenda was patting Sarah's arm. "See?" Brenda whispered. "I told you he'd be like this. He's losing his grip. Just keep playing the worried wife card. By the time we're done with the divorce filings next month, he'll be lucky if he gets supervised visitation. We'll have the house, the savings, and Julian can finally move in properly. They're planning to take my daughter. They aren't just cheating, they're trying to erase me. But they forgot one thing. I'm a systems architect. My entire job is finding the vulnerabilities in a secure system and exploiting them. They think they've built this perfect, airtight lie, but I have the admin password now. Tomorrow, I'm meeting the private investigator Marcus hired. We're going to get photos of Julian and Sarah at their Tuesday meeting. And then, I'm going to start the burn. I'm so tired, guys. My heart feels like it's being squeezed by a cold hand. I look at photos of our wedding and I don't even recognize the woman in the white dress. Was she ever real? Or was this always the plan? I have to go. I can hear Brenda coming back toward the office. She's probably coming to check on me, spy on what's on my screen. Wish me luck. Tuesday is the day the world ends for them. They just don't know it yet. Time passed since last update. 3 weeks. I'm typing this from a temporary rental across town. It's over. The house is quiet. The locks are changed, and for the first time in 3 years, I don't feel like I'm losing my mind. But God, the path to get here, it was a bloodbath. For the last 21 days, I've been living a double life. I've been the perfect, boring husband. I bought Sarah flowers. I listened to Brenda's advice on how to be more masculine. I even let Sarah drag me to a couples counseling session with a therapist Brenda chose. A woman who spent 45 minutes nodding while Sarah explained how my emotional unavailability was starving her soul. I sat there, apologizing for things I didn't do, all while knowing that my lawyer had already drafted the petition for divorce and an emergency ex parte order for custody. The PI, a guy named Rick, hit pay dirt on that Tuesday big meeting I mentioned in my last post. He followed Sarah to a boutique hotel downtown. He got high-resolution photos of her and Julian in the lobby, kissing, laughing, looking like a couple on their honeymoon. But the kicker? He caught Brenda pulling up 10 minutes later with a bag of groceries and a bottle of wine. She went up to their room. She was literally playing hostess for her daughter's affair. Rick got video of them leaving 3 hours later. Brenda was hugging Julian, hugging the man who was helping destroy her son-in-law's life. Yesterday was D-Day. I told Sarah and Brenda that I had a celebratory dinner planned for working through our issues. I told them to be home by 6 p.m., dressed up. Brenda was thrilled. She texted Sarah. I saw it on the iPad, which I still have hidden. He's finally falling back into line. This makes the transition so much easier. Make sure you look vulnerable tonight. I got home at 5 p.m. I wasn't alone. I had Marcus, my lawyer, 2 process servers, and a locksmith. I had already moved Lily to my sister's house for a sleepover. The house was empty. The locksmith worked fast. By 5:45 p.m., every exterior lock was replaced. I had all of Sarah's and Brenda's suitcases, the ones they used for their trips, packed and sitting on the front porch. I didn't even pack their nice things. I just threw what was in their closets into duffel bags. At 6:10 p.m., Sarah's SUV pulled into the driveway. Brenda was in the passenger seat. They were laughing. They walked up to the porch, looking confused at the mountain of luggage. Sarah tried her key. It didn't turn. She tried again, rattling the handle. "Mark?" she called out, her voice still in that sweet, manipulative tone. "Honey, the key isn't working. Did you break the lock again? You're so clumsy." I opened the door, but I didn't step back to let them in. I stood there, leaning against the frame. Marcus stood right behind me, holding the blue folders. "The locks aren't broken, Sarah," I said. My voice was dead, flat. "They're new, just like your life is about to be." Brenda pushed her way to the front. "What is this nonsense, Mark? We have a dinner reservation. Move aside and stop playing these childish games. Your mental health is clearly spiraling again." That was it. That was the last time she was going to use that card. I held up the iPad. I didn't say a word. I just hit play on a screen recording of their group chat with Julian. The volume was turned all the way up. Drained from Sarah's face so fast I thought she was going to faint. Brenda, to her credit, didn't even flinch at first. She just narrowed her eyes. "You stole her property," Brenda hissed. "That's a crime, Mark. We'll have you in jail for this." "Actually," Marcus stepped forward, handing each of them a folder. "The iPad is registered in Mr. Thompson's name, paid for via his business account. And these are the divorce papers. A restraining order for Mrs. Thompson regarding the marital home, and a notice of eviction for you, Brenda." Sarah ripped the folder open, her hands shaking. "Mark, no, this is a misunderstanding. Julian, he's just a friend. Mom, tell him." "A friend you've been sleeping with in room 402 of the Grand Hotel?" I asked. "A friend you bought $400 lingerie for while I was at home with our daughter? A friend your mother invited over while I was at work? You've been spying on us," Sarah screamed. She went from vulnerable wife to cornered animal in 3 seconds. "You're a freak. This is why I cheated. You're obsessive. You're a monster." "I might be a monster, Sarah," I said, stepping onto the porch and closing the door behind me. "But I'm a monster with the bank accounts, the deed to this house, and a PI report that makes you look like an unfit mother for bringing a stranger into our child's life behind my back." Brenda tried to lunge for me. She actually tried to claw at my face. "You pathetic little man. You're nothing. My daughter deserves a real man, not a nerd who spends his life behind a screen. We'll take everything. We'll take Lily. You'll never see her again." That's when the police car pulled up. I'd called them ahead of time, telling them I was performing a legal eviction and feared a domestic disturbance. 2 officers stepped out. Brenda didn't stop. She started screaming at the cops that I was abusing them, that I'd kidnapped Lily. It was pathetic. Sarah was on the driveway, sitting on a suitcase, sobbing. Not because she was sorry, but because the ATM had finally run out of cash. The officers stayed until they loaded their suitcases into Sarah's SUV. Brenda was still shouting threats as they backed out of the driveway. "This isn't over, Mark. You'll be begging for mercy when my lawyers are done with you." I didn't answer. I just watched them drive away. I spent the night in the house alone. It felt huge, cold. I stayed up with Marcus going over the next steps. Because Brenda was right about one thing. It's not over. She has money, and she's going to spend every cent of it trying to ruin me. But I have the truth, and for the first time in 3 years, I don't have anyone whispering in my ear that I'm the problem. I'm exhausted. Every bone in my body hurts. I'm going to go see Lily now. I'm going to hold her and tell her I love her. I have a long road ahead of me. Custody battles, depositions, and Brenda's inevitable revenge plot. But I'm not shaking anymore. Time passed since last update. 18 months. I'm sitting on the deck of my new house. It's smaller than the old one, but every square inch of it belongs to me. There are no hidden cameras, no whispers in the hallway, and no Brenda dropping by to tell me how I'm failing as a husband. It's quiet. It's finally quiet. I wanted to wait until the ink was dry on every single legal document before I posted this. I didn't want to jinx it. I didn't want to give Brenda even a sliver of an opening to say I was harassing them online. But today, the final certified mail arrived. It's over. The last year and a half has been the most grueling, expensive, and eye-opening period of my life. If you ever find yourself in a legal battle with a narcissist and their golden child, pack a lunch. It's a marathon through hell. The divorce was a bloodbath. Brenda spent upwards of $150,000 on a legal team that tried every dirty trick in the book. They tried to claim I'd hacked the iPad. It was in my name. They tried to claim the recordings were deepfakes created by my tech-obsessed mind. They even tried to file a protective order against me, claiming I was a danger to the family because I changed the locks. But Marcus, God bless that man, was 3 steps ahead. We didn't just have the iPad. We had the PI's footage. We had the bank record showing Brenda reimbursing Sarah for hotel rooms used for the affair. And we had the depositions. I will never forget the day of Brenda's deposition. She walked in looking like she was going to a royal wedding. Pearls, a tweed suit, that smug, I'm better than you smile. She thought she could charm the room. Marcus started by playing the voice memo. You know the one where she called me a glorified ATM. Mrs. Marcus asked, his voice like cold silk. Is that your voice? It was a joke, she stammered. For the first time, her mask slipped. Mark has no sense of humor. I was just trying to lighten my daughter's mood. He's very difficult. Is it a joke to coordinate an extramarital affair for your daughter while her husband, the man you called a son, is working 60 hours a week to pay for your home renovations? Marcus leaned in. Is it a joke to coach your daughter on how to fake a mental health crisis to manipulate her spouse? Brenda snapped. She actually stood up and screamed at Marcus. She called him a bottom feeder and shouted that I was a nothing who should be grateful she even let me marry her daughter. She did it all on record. The court reporter's flying fingers were the only sound in the room for a long time after that. That outburst was the beginning of the end for them. The judge didn't take kindly to Brenda's grandparents' rights suit either. Yes, she actually tried to sue for court-mandated visitation with Lily. She claimed I was alienating the child. The judge looked at the evidence of Brenda plotting to take Lily away from me and relocate her to another state with Julian, and he shut it down, permanently. Brenda is now under a strict no-contact order regarding my daughter. If she shows up at Lily's school, she goes to jail. And Sarah? The epic romance with Julian didn't survive the reality of a budget. Once the ATM was closed, Sarah had to move into Brenda's guest house. Julian, it turns out, wasn't looking for a soulmate to build a life with. He was looking for a sugar mama and a fun getaway. When he realized Sarah wasn't getting the house, the $401,000, or a massive alimony check, he vanished. I heard through the grapevine, mostly through mutual friends who finally saw the truth, that Julian ghosted her 3 weeks after the eviction. He moved to Vegas with some other woman. Sarah was devastated. She tried to call me. God, she tried. 6 months ago, I got a call from an unknown number at 2 a.m. I shouldn't have answered, but I thought it might be an emergency with my sister. Mark? It was Sarah. She was crying. Mark, please. I made a mistake. My mom, she pushed me too far. She's so controlling, Mark. I didn't mean to hurt you. I miss my life. I miss us. Can we just talk? For Lily's sake? I sat there in the dark, listening to her sob. 2 years ago, that sound would have broken me. I would have run to her. I would have apologized for making her cheat. But I didn't feel anything. No anger, no love, just a profound sense of boredom. Sarah, I said. My voice was steady. The only thing we have to talk about is Lily's pickup schedule for her supervised visits. If you have anything else to say, tell Marcus. Don't call this number again. I hung up. I blocked the number. I went back to sleep. As for the settlement, I kept the house, which I sold immediately to buy this one. I kept my retirement. Sarah got a small lump sum and her car. She's currently working as an assistant at a dental office, her first real job in 7 years. Brenda is still Brenda, but she's becoming increasingly isolated as her friends in the community found out why her son-in-law suddenly cut her off. Lily is doing great. She's in play therapy, and her therapist says she's remarkably resilient. She sees her mom every other weekend for 4 hours, supervised. It's hard, but it's safe. She's happy. She's thriving. Last night I was tucking her in and she looked at me and said, "Daddy, your face looks different." I asked her what she meant. She touched my forehead and said, "It's not all wrinkly anymore. You look like you're having a good dream, even when you're awake." I think that's the best way to describe it. I'm finally awake. The girls' trip iPad is currently in a safe deposit box. I keep it not because I want to look at it, but as a reminder. A reminder that gaslighting only works if you don't trust your own eyes. To anyone out there who feels like they're going crazy because their partner or in-laws are telling them they're paranoid, trust your gut. Look at the bank statements. Check the forgotten devices. And for the love of God, hire a good lawyer. I'm going to go grill some burgers now. Just me and Lily. No drama, no lies, just peace. Thank you for listening to my story. It's been a long road, but the view from the end is pretty damn good.